So there's been a question posed, by the way, everybody, Paul Reed Smith here. I'm at Sweetwater. There's been a question posed, why buy a PRS? And it's not really something I talk about very much, but let me go through each of it. I think everybody would agree that what the tuning pegs are made out of and how they're attached, what the nut's made out of, how it's attached, what's the wood in the neck, how dry is it, how thick is the finish, what's the fretboard made out of, how dry is it, are the frets glued in, what's the bridge made out of, how's it attached, what's the wood in the body made out of, how much water's in it, how much resin's crystallized in the body, how are the pickups wound, what are they wound with, what are the magnets, what kind of pots are in it, what kind of switches, how thick's the finish, how rubbery's the finish. All these things have a huge impact on the sound of a guitar. And I know this list naturally because that's what we live at PRS. We have our own proprietary tuning pegs made. Obviously you want them beautiful, but the number one goal was how much better do they make the guitar sound. This new nut material that we've been using since September of 2011, we think sounds like injectable bone, and we just love the way it sounds. We bake all of our woods to get all the water out. We bake all the woods to get the resins crystallized. We use non-water glues to glue the fretboard in. All the frets are glued in place so that if you sweat on the guitar, the frets stay level. The finish on the guitars is razor thin, it's crystal, and if you take a razor blade to it, it shatters. It's not like rubber. The bridge is made of very musical materials that don't deaden the sound, and it's attached very solidly. We have an exclusive, several exclusives actually, on the pickup wire and the magnets, and we have our own pots made. We make our own pots, and we make our own knobs. We have special switches made. Even the jack plate, special made out of aluminum. I mean, there's just so many things about these guitars. This private stock guitar, for instance, has an African blackwood fretboard and mastodon ivory, mammoth ivory inlays between the frets. We have our own fret wire made. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. And so what we're trying to do is make a musical instrument that's not just something that you would play, but something that would be an heirloom in your family, something you could easily play out with, something you could record with, something that's doubles between some sort of art object and a powerful musical instrument. 80% of information is brought in with people's eyes. But in the end, if you don't love the way it sounds and you don't love the way it plays, you're not going to love the guitar. So you have to go after all three. How does it look? How does it sound? And how does it feel? And all those things are art forms and all highly important. So why would you buy a PRS? In my mind, because we're paying attention to all that stuff. And we're doing everything we can possibly do to get that guitar to ring as long as possible in as most musical way as possible. Have all the frets be level, everything you would expect from an instrument. Look, here's the goal. If you sit down right after your guitar's been stolen, say your guitar's stolen, got stolen new, and you decide what you're going to do, don't you want to go to the store or call Sweetwater or whatever and have an instrument show up that out of the box you can instantly do a session, instantly play a gig, instantly do whatever you got to do. You don't have to take it to the repairman. Isn't that the goal? So what I'm suggesting is when you get a box from Sweetwater and it's a PRS, that instrument will come right out of the case and you could instantly just double check the tuning and play a session with it. You could instantly go play a gig with it. That's the goal. You don't have to have it worked on. The thing should work from moment one as a beautiful musical instrument. That's the goal. And for me, you know, I spent all day today doing videos on lots of guitars. I did not adjust one of them. That is what I was handed. That's what came out of the box. So if you watch all those videos, I didn't adjust those guitars. I might have touch tuned them, but that was it. That's what they sound like right out of the box. And if you want a reason to think about buying one of our instruments, that would be a good one. So call your sales engineer at Sweetwater, see if they have something that might suit or fit your needs, and give it a shot. Watch all these videos and see what kind of sounds were coming out of the instruments right there on the spot. I think that that's a pretty good testimonial.
Thank